Here, I'll show you the video that I first saw that introduced me to this whole thing.
So I'm 24 years old, and I've been trying my hand at dating men specifically for probably about 5-6 years now, in a serious way. I'm single at the moment. My boyfriend and I just broke up recently, and I have probably dated about like 4 to 5 men seriously. Keep running into the same issues every single time I date a man, and I've been trying to like really get to the root of what it is. And now I know what you're thinking. You probably have a type. I do not have a type. These men don't know each other. They're not friends. They're not from the same area. They don't look alike. I really do not have a type. The only thing that these men have in common is that they are men. I really have been reflecting a lot and trying to figure out what like the root of all these issues is. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended.
Someone Bakri for Bua's lunch party? I thought we liked her.
One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are really so. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, but I'm not the reason that any of these relationships ended. One of the main issues that I've come to recognize is that I don't think men are really socialized to know what it means to truly love someone, like love their partner and care for their partner. Obviously, I'm not saying this is all men, but I think it's just not normalized for them to like. Like, I don't know, just like, I guess I don't know how to phrase it. What I'm saying, for example, is that every single one of these men individually has looked me in my eyes and told me that I am the love of their life, I'm the most important person in their life, that they would take a bullet for me, and every single one of them has treated me horribly, okay? I don't know about you, but when I tell somebody they're the love of my life and that they're the person I care about the most, I show it. I'm treating them accordingly. Part of it that really trips me up is that they believe it. They actually believe in their heart that I'm the love of their life and I'm the person they care about the most. I start calling it out. I would be like, you do not love me and you do not care about me. Like, point blank, period. Otherwise, you wouldn't be treating me badly. And they will argue and they get genuinely, like, offended. They get offended. I honestly pity them because I don't think they're socialized to know what that means. And, like, I don't know how to get it across in a meaningful way to them. Like, they just don't listen. And I'll be like, okay, you wouldn't have done this bad thing to me if you actually loved me in the way that you say you do. Like, that is not what love is. That's not what love is. When you love someone, you don't do things to intentionally or even unintentionally hurt them. Why is that considered love to you? I'm just like, I don't know where it's coming from. I honestly pity them because that has to be awful, but like I can't handle it anymore, dude.
So in this video, this girl is describing her troubles with finding a good man. She insists that she doesn't have a type, that none of these men really have anything in common, but for some reason in the end, they always end up treating her horribly. And this led many in the comments to speculate that it must be something about her that is the common denominator. And unfortunately, since it's such a short TikTok video and we don't really get much insight onto greater parts of her personality, and she's not very open about what her most major flaws are to figure out why she's attracting such mean men or why her relationships are always driven to turmoil, people began to theorize, because it's one of the most noticeable things about her, that it could potentially have to do with the amount of piercings she has. In fact, these two comments right next to each other say, "The piercing theory is so true," with over 700 likes. And again, don't know, don't care, nose ring theory with over 1,200 likes. So you might be wondering, like I did, what about having a bunch of metal in your face would cause someone to treat you poorly? I mean, sure, the style isn't everyone's type, but these men were clearly attracted enough to her to date her, so then what is it that's causing the relationships to not go well? So I decided to look into what these men were referencing when they talked about the piercing theory or the nose ring theory. And this was the top video I found.
Have y'all ever heard of the septum piercing theory? If you have a septum piercing, you may not want to look it up, but I'm always the last person to hear about shit. So, this is common knowledge. It's dead ass. It's actually dead ass. Because it says that every person that has a septum piercing makes their trauma their entire personality.
And she agrees? It's dead ass.
Like I said, dead ass.
Damn, straight from the horse's mouth. Or maybe I should say straight from the bull's mouth. You know, because you get it. And if even the person with the nose ring is saying it's true, I mean, there's gotta be something there. And this is just even more hilarious when we take that theory and then reference back to the first video where the girl was making her relationship trauma her entire personality. Okay, that might have been a little reductive. After all, it was just one video. Surely her entire profile isn't like that.
Yo, you guys never told me how cool it is to have a dad. Like, this is a secret that's been kept from me, okay? I grew up with 3 moms. My mommy issues are off the charts.
Okay, sure. I mean, so maybe she doesn't have a dad and has a ton of self-proclaimed mommy issues, but that doesn't mean trauma's her entire personality.
I have psoriasis. Not like a little psoriasis, like all over my entire body. When I tell you, my whole body looks like this.
Okay, so she has a bit of medical trauma too, but I mean, there's more to her.
Nothing normal can ever happen to me. I think I attract chaos.
Okay, so attracting chaos, it might be a little red flag, but I mean, there's gotta be something normal here.
Not to be a man hater or anything.
What does animation mean to you? Is it a dynamic picture?
Actually, no, fully to be a man hater. Fully to be a man hater.
Oh, okay, I guess she also just doesn't like men. I mean, you could have brought that up when you were theorizing on why your relationships with men might be going poorly. I'm starting to connect the dots. Now, when I first started looking into nose ring theory, I didn't think that I would take it seriously at all. I thought it would just be a good laugh. But the more I looked into it, the more I think that it might actually hold some weight, because I did find quite a number of studies that have strong correlations between between individuals with a lot of piercings and tattoos and how they are perceived and who they attract. This study seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos scored significantly higher than those without for sensation-seeking and risk-taking behaviors. This other study that I found seems to indicate that people with piercings and tattoos, specifically women, scored significantly higher for extroversion and assertiveness, meaning they are more aggressive socially. This study that I found in Psychology Today examined how people with tattoos and piercings are perceived, and the most popular finding was that they are perceived to be more sexually promiscuous, and that they tend to attract people who are looking for more casual relationships than serious ones. And many other studies seem to point to people with piercings and tattoos having higher correlations with impulsivity and more experience with trauma and adversity. This study from BMC Psychology seemed to find a strong correlation between body modifications and people who experienced childhood abuse and neglect. And this one really stood out to me. This one found a notable prevalence of individuals with a high number of body modifications and borderline personality disorder. Now, this is not to say that individuals with piercings and tattoos are all degenerate problem children undeserving of love. I myself have a belly button piercing and an entire side piece, and I find myself to be pretty well adjusted and have had a lot of success in my relationships. But it does beg the question, could there be any legitimacy to the nose ring theory, or is it mostly just something that jerks shout at people they disagree with online when they happen to have a nose ring? My ultimate conclusion? Probably both. Obviously, even with all of these studies and research papers, you're never going to be able to make a correct, sweeping blanket generalization about every one kind of person who looks a certain way. In the case of the first video we watched, where the girl is describing her issues with relationships with men, we know that people did at least initially find her very attractive, as she even cites at the end of the video that I cut off that both men and women have described completely falling in love with her. And when I first listened to her story, I wasn't even making any judgments about her physical appearance. I was truly waiting for the other shoe to drop of when she was going to describe some consistent patterns of behavior that might lead to all of this correlation. In her case, I definitely think that being a vocal man-hater was probably the linchpin in the disruption in her relationships with men, but certainly not all women with piercings and tattoos feel that way. In fact, here are some examples of super pierced and tattooed girls in very happy relationships with men.
What is this? What is this, please?
Also, it's so funny how they always go for the nerdy gamer guys. But this is what makes the nose ring theory so complex, because if the first video were to be enough to prove that it's accurate, then all of these